Well, hello and welcome back to the Tao Manifesting Tarot. This is the tarot reading for serious tarot people. This is not a rainbows and lollipops kind of a reading. 99% of the tarot readings that you're going to get these days fall into that category. This is very straight, very simple, very, very easy to understand. I only do 5 cards. You see them on the screen. I don't do any more because I don't need any more. I'm looking for a frequency. Tarot is the science of potential, meaning you got to get involved. On some level, you have to get involved. You have to make a decision. You got to take some physical action. You got to think some certain way, whatever the heck it is that gets you to move. Tarot is potential. If you match the frequency, or vice versa, if the frequency matches with you, that's a great indicator. Get up and go. I mean, do it. If it doesn't match, don't worry about it. Whether it's an astrological reading, and I've done astrology for over 50 years, or it's a tarot reading, I've done tarot for over 20 years, don't worry about it. No single reading matches everybody all the time. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. So, that being the case, if it doesn't resonate with you today, it'll tomorrow, next week, next month. It'll sooner or later, you're going to match up. Frequencies are going to match up. We're all on a different path. We're all headed in a kind of a slightly different direction. Certainly the path we take is different. You can just tell that by your siblings. If you have brothers and sisters, you're all different. It's because your path is different. It's a different situation for each and every one of us. Wherever we decide our spiritual path, whatever you believe, that sets up our life. So there's an element of fate. Fate is an essential part of life. If you take a look at anybody's life, what happens is there are interventions of one kind or another. It depends on the parents, depends on the schooling, depends on your friends, depends on the friends of friends. It depends on how things will just go. If it went a different way, slightly, your life would be very different. In fact, I just heard a story the other day about the guy who runs BlackRock, who I think is a despicable human being, Mr. Fink. He was not interested in banking. He was going to go into advertising, I think, something like that, something different. And a friend of his talked him into doing the banking thing. And so he did it on a lark, just for the hell of it. Now he is part of a group that owns almost all of Wall Street. Top 500, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. These people who produce nothing, but they buy companies. 51%, just enough to control. Larry Fink and his pals control almost 90% of Wall Street. That's a monopoly. I don't care how you divide it up. I don't care how you cut it up. It is a monopoly. But he didn't intend to go that way. He was headed in an entirely different direction. Somebody intervened. That's what life is. I said this yesterday. John Lennon of the Beatles said, life is what happens when you're busy doing other things. He's right. Exactly right. So that's why tarot is the science of potential. What you decide to do, what you actually do, makes a difference. So 5 cards, you're going to get a good, clear read in about 12 minutes. In that time, you will have a chance to pick up any kind of wisdom or any kind of inspiration that you can, because that's really what I'm out to do, is to inspire you. And before I go into it, people around me remind me all the time these days, please share, subscribe, and like. That's important to the internet. And the algorithm helps somehow. So share, subscribe, like if you feel up to it. Now let's get to the reading. Middle card is the Oracle card. It is the one that sets the mood. The card for today is not for you. And as a fortune cookie right in the middle of a chess game, goes back to what I was just saying. And I wasn't thinking about it, wasn't even looking at the card at the time. Life is what happens when you're busy doing other things. That's exactly what this says. Fortune cookie. It all depends on just how the parts and pieces fall together and how you react to the parts and pieces. Number up in the right-hand corner is 6. That means the beginning of materialization. A harmony, a stability. Things are starting to take form, take shape. But the idea is not for you means let this opportunity, or what appears as an opportunity, let it pass. It's not for you. I know it's attractive. I know you're used to it. And that's really the problem for most people. Well, this is the way I've always lived. I have my ass kicked. I'm always fighting to make a living. I'm always this. So this is life. No, it's not. Maybe it's time for you to let this illusion pass. It's not for you. The meme for today comes from Josh Becker. He says, have the courage to build your life around what is really most important to you. Not society, not Larry Fink from BlackRock, not anybody else, but you. What is the most important to you? Now that's the trick, because you got to figure out on your own what's important to you. Value system. Aha. Let's begin all the way on the left. 3 of Wands. Wands are positivity, enthusiasm, gratitude, joy, energy, vitality. You can see by the card, bright yellow. I mean, it's just loaded with positivity. And he's got 3 wands. 3 wands indicating the blending of mind, body, spirit. I try to put a strong sense of holistic thought and feeling into these readings, because more often than not, 95% or more of tarot readings are very, very superficial. They don't force you to step out of your mind shit. Stay there, and let's just play the game within this. I'm trying to encourage you to get you to think and feel for yourself, to manifest. That's the point of this tarot. Manifest. Yeah. So the 3 of Wands says this guy is trying to manifest what happens in his life when he lines up his mind, his body, his spirit. That's the human trinity, mind, body, spirit. Have them all work together. What a concept. But if you can do that, the future is bright, because you have some control over the future. Next card is the Page of Pentacles. We were talking about values, how important it is to have values, to know whether or not to let something pass. And if you're going to let something pass in your life, what is it you're going to pass? Well, you got to know what your value system is, so you can judge, you can make decisions. That's what the next card is all about. The pages always change the storyline. It's like you're writing a novel and you're headed in one direction, and then something or someone comes into the storyline and whoosh, you're headed off in another direction. Life is what happens when you're busy doing other things. And that's what pages bring. Page of Pentacles says they are bringing you an opportunity to change your value system consciously. All of us are programmed to think the things that are important are really important. Why? Because it supports the power structure. It keeps them in power, keeps you weak. George Carlin's famous for saying, take a look at the classes in America. The rich don't pay any taxes, don't do any work, but they keep all the money. Middle class pays all the taxes, does all the work, is productive. And the lower class, the poor, are there just to scare the shit out of the middle class, keep them working. That's the way it works. You are being given an opportunity to pass on some aspect of the way you have been living, thinking, feeling. You have an opportunity. Do you take it or not? Next card is another page. Page of Swords, a change of thought. I find it fascinating that the 2 pages are so connected. If you change your thinking, you're going to change your value system. If you change your value system, you're going to change your thinking. That's the deal. That's the way it works. That's what you can plug into. And the final card for today really underlines all of that, and that's the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, when most tarot people look at this thing, they go, oh, look at the guy stealing. Look at it. He's leaving some sort of a carnival or circus and he's taking stuff. Not true. He's leaving the carnival or circus that we call life and deciding what is true for him. How do we know that? Well, we have two swords. Two means decision. He's making a decision to change his thinking. And he's leaving the game. He knows it's bullshit. He knows that it's stacked against him. He's done. He's finished. And he's taking the 5 other swords, which are the true things, his true value system. So you are in a position right now where you are being given the opportunity to change your values by changing your thinking. Or change your thinking to change your values, however you wish to look at it. But you're being given the opportunity to pass, to quit doing something. It's not for you. Recognize it, admit it, and move on. That's the energy. That's the reading for today, too. Back again tomorrow with another Tao Manifested reading. Between now and the next time you and I get together, peace and blessings.